Hey guys, welcome back. All right, I just have to show off this really quick because my family got this for me for Mother's Day. Yeah, I don't want to stay up too much longer yammering on because we have an early day tomorrow. My kids' last day of school is tomorrow. I know they're very excited. They each have, I think, one final exam left, and then they get to come home early from school. And also, we just went ahead and signed up for our Final Fantasy 14 accounts for the summer again, just in time for the new expansion comes out, I think, next month. And we're all kind of very excited to play together. So that's been kind of fun setting that up. I haven't even got to jump on yet. So yeah, I'm hoping to play tomorrow afternoon with my son. He's been asking all day and it just hasn't worked out today. So let's go ahead and pick the next TBR basket pick. Okay. Okay. I always get nervous. I have two in my hand. Which one do I drop? Okay. Oh, I had like four in my hand. Ooh, I actually really like this one. Okay. All right, this is the one I picked. 113. Read a loved one's book. I have a couple for this one. I'm not sure which one I want to read for this prompt though, because I have both of these, and both of these work really, really well. A Spell for Chameleon by Piers Anthony. This one was my husband's favorite book for the longest time. And I did start reading it, and let me tell you, okay, I thought he read this when he was a little kid. He might have been on the younger side, but this is not really for little kids. I do kind of like that it's a bit shorter because I am still working on Heir of Fire, and then I'm also, right after I'm done with Heir of Fire, I plan to read this book. This is just a dust jacket. So I'm kind of reading those while I'm also reading for the prompts. So there's Spell for a Chameleon. I already know that this is one of those books that's amazing, right? It's going to suck you in. However, if I read this one, I'm starting a whole new series. So I don't know if that's something I'm really, really want to do. And then the other choice I have is Jurassic Park. This is a little bit larger, but it's different because Heir of Fire is high fantasy, and this is also high fantasy. So I feel like the worlds might blend a little bit too much. This one's actually more horror, like science fiction horror kind of thing, I think. I didn't realize this because obviously I watched all the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies, and they're not like horror. Anyways, my husband really loves this book, as well as my son. I was really shocked when my son actually read this book because he was not a really big reader at all. And it was like pulling teeth, finding things that he really liked. And then he picked this up and he flew through it. And I wasn't even aware that he was able to read something this level at the time that he read it. So obviously he just has to find the thing that he's really interested in, and he really liked this book. And I think this was a bit of his gateway into realizing that he liked to read a lot too. So I don't know which one to pick. Like I said, I'm a little bit worried that this might overlap worlds a little too much with the same sort of like fantasy worlds. So I'm thinking I'm leaning towards this one. And I might be able to find an audiobook to accompany this. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that. Probably the only way I'm going to be able to make it through and also be able to read everything else I'm reading. So that's what we're going to go with. And I'll catch up with you guys later when I start reading. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a little bit since I chose this book, but Jurassic Park. I think I stated that in my video that this was the one I was choosing. I haven't made it that far. It's not for lack of enjoying this book. It's just that I'm so close to finishing. I've been really dedicating a lot of my time to reading this. And then it's just been really busy with the end of school, the first week of summer. And I swear, the kids don't even like do a lot. They pretty much just play their video games and stuff like that. But I feel incredibly behind on all the house chores and laundry and stuff like that. I have no choice, but this weekend I have to get caught up on it because we're going to go on vacation. And when we come back, we have like a week of really hard work where the house is going to be completely neglected. So I have to get on track. I have to do that. And I don't have any more Hoopla checkouts. Otherwise, I would get this on audiobook. Hold on. What was I saying? This is crap. We're here for a bit of a Jurassic Park update. I am about 75 pages in, and I am actually really enjoying it. I definitely think that it is definitely a page turner, even if certain parts are, despite the writing being very scientific, if that's not exactly your thing and you're here more for the thrills and chills of it and the storyline or like that kind of thing, the technical writing is very consumable and it doesn't last a whole long time. It's about 450 pages, so it seems like a pretty dense book, but the reading pace of it is actually going very, very quickly. Like this has really only been a couple of short reading sessions and I've made it this far. So I'll just be going along and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to like 100 pages already. So that is really nice. It's really refreshing when you get a book like that, especially after reading a book where you're like, I feel like I've been reading forever and I've made it like 20 pages. So it is kind of nice to switch that up. Anyways, I better get going. I have some things that I would like to tackle today, and I will catch up with you soon. Driving to Louisiana. This is like the most weird awkward angle.
Get over.
The most awkward. All right, we are on our way to Louisiana. Michael is driving us. And we are talking about Jurassic Park. I decided to read this book for the challenge because it is his favorite book. This is one of the first times I remember, like, we had the hardest time finding books that you would really, really like. And you went from reading, like, chapter books, like probably middle grade
I think it was
style books.
It was like those treasure books. No, it wasn't the treasure books. It was the treehouse books.
Treehouse books?
Magic Treehouse.
Yeah, Magic Treehouse.
And then what else would you read before you read this? It was
Percy Jackson series.
Percy Jackson, which is considered middle grade as far as like difficulty level.
I debate otherwise. Mark of Athena is so bad right now.
And then let's see, what was the other ones that you read? You read the Mark Twain one. The two boys who go off on a little adventure, the friends.
Yeah, and I really liked Outsiders.
That was recently though. I'm talking about before you read this one.
Oh yeah.
Because you went from reading like these middle grade chapter books to picking this book up and then devouring this book, and I was like, that is so much more challenging. So how old were you when you read this book?
I was probably like 13.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 12.
That was 2 years ago? You had been younger than that. I remember it just completely blowing me away.
I think maybe I was 12 then. I don't know.
It was in Colorado?
No,
No. It was in Florida?
It wasn't. I think it was in Florida. It was towards like later in Florida though, so I think I was 12.
Before you read this book though, you were familiar with all the movies?
Yes.
Alright, so tell us, I guess, what your favorite things are about this.
When I really got into this book was I always probably always will have a very fascination for dinosaurs, especially when I watched the movies. Seeing the velociraptors and all of that for the first time was really interesting, and then I loved my characters in the movies. Reading the book was a new experience and a new way to look at it, and I really actually got into learning about things like the chaos theory because they went over it in the movie, but like I never really was the kind of guy to person to look at like Ian Malcolm high up in the movie. You really understand him as a character in the book, like, I understand a lot more about the Jurassic World theory. The thing with InGen, when they try to steal the embryos, and why they have this crazy thing against each other. You learn more about that in the Lost World book, but it was still interesting to learn about in the Jurassic Park book and everything. And trying to keep spoilers mostly out of this, I'd say it was just, I'd say the characters, they were different and more enlightening in the book than they were in the movie. They kind of like, they felt, I feel like in the book they felt like they had a little bit more emotion, in a sense. Like, reading the book, I felt like I was building a close connection to my characters, to understanding them, versus in the movie, I don't know what it was about the movie. They just felt a little, not dry, but like, I don't want to say there's bad acting at all. I think they did amazing acting for the movie's time and everything, but I don't know.
These people are going to merge, I think, in front of us.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. Good job. Get over. There you go. Yay. Good call. Sorry.
Yeah.
I interrupted you. So you were talking about
How I liked the characters in the book and everything.
Yeah.
I pretty much finished up.
I think the movie was definitely more like, let's see all the action, and the book is a lot more scientific and theory based, and they're like a lot hinging on this, like why it's not going to work, why it cannot work, because of the chaos theory. Really, I think that's really heavy on the chaos theory the most. Do you think?
I believe so. I think the chaos theory is massive in this book. When you learn about things, it was like, you learn how Malcolm knew everything was going to happen. He's like, well, it's interesting you talk about this. Is it perhaps because this happened when they didn't know about it, like the hidden things, and then they were like, no, yeah, that didn't happen when it did.
Yeah, like
for example, the hidden deaths.
The breeding. And the breeding,
yeah.
Like, they were just like, no, it cannot happen. It cannot happen.
And then they put fish inside of the Gallimimus and it started making eggs.
You know what else? In the movie, I really liked the old man. Like, he was just like such a dinosaur lover at heart.
John Hammond.
Yeah, but then in the book, I'm like, you are a completely different person. His motivations are so different. Yes, he still loves dinosaurs, but when he has that long conversation about money, I was like, oh, this is different.
Well, when I like how he looks at it in the book, because it's more realistic in the book that way.
It is, though.
Like, people who love theme parks, Six Flags, Universal Studios, all you look at that. CEOs of that, they're like, I love my roller coasters, but I also want some freaking money.
Yeah, I mean, he's been investing for years. He's definitely...
He put his whole life to making these dinosaurs come to life, and now he's done it, but now he doesn't want to lose them. So he needs to make money. He needs to learn how to do this. He's got to get those Disney hot dog prices, you know what I'm saying? To get that.
Yeah.
He's like,
it's
I just
so
got
smart.
this, you can't lose it now.
I mean, you can see why he's so wealthy, because he's an amazing business person. He has the funding to like make really crazy risky business, but at the end of the day, he's thinking business.
Yeah. Making dinosaurs coming back to life. If that isn't revolutionary, I don't know what is.
They really didn't. And then they're talking about like how they're going to expand once they open the park. Then they can sell pets. And he's like, no. We're beyond pets. Like, we're talking like, I don't know what they're talking about. They mentioned a lot of stuff like the expansion of like where all their money's going to come in.
And I think that's where InGen gets into it with them. Is InGen wants them for scientific purposes. They want to do testing. They want to
militarize it, right?
Yes.
Potentially.
Well, they kind of did that with Dr. Wu in the movies.
Yeah.
And because Dr. Wu was kind of like, he was just playing both sides. He was doing whatever benefited him most, which InGen funded his whole program with the hybrids and everything. But yeah, because I think the thing that was against them is I believed it was called the John Hammond Foundation Creation Center or Creation Foundation. I forget. But that was how the two worked. I'm gonna get over were like writing. I was like, I don't want to even go against that. They definitely were.
I thought it was so interesting too, though, because John Hammond is like, I just wanted real dinosaurs, and they're like, don't get it twisted. Nothing about this is real. Like, even from the DNA strands, they're not
actually
replicated they're not mimicking even the dinosaurs from before, because their DNA is already altered.
Yeah,
from the get-go. There's nothing about
sitting
this is real.
Yeah, it's like these dinosaurs got freaking tree inside them. You know, it's like they've been sitting in a.
This is a frog dinosaur.
Pretty much. I mean, can you imagine the legs on that thing?
Which we kind of start to learn about too. It's just so interesting too, because he's very much stubborn and stuck on this, like, I just wanted real dinosaurs. It's like you were never going to get real dinosaurs.
That's impossible. Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah, and he just can't wrap his head around this concept.
Who? John Hammond or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it though, because they said that he's 78 years old, or 77 years old.
He spent his whole life doing this. He wants it. He's like,
there is an arrogance that comes when you're the oldest person in the room that's seen some shit, and then there's also the like, yeah. He's also like used to being the CEO, the business owner, the funder behind everything, and he's like, this is my vision, this is what I wanted, that's what I got, and it's like, but.
I mean, he's still big. He's like, and I think the thing to him as well is, if the scientists kind of stayed out of telling him that, like, it's weird because it's like, it's sad when you hear about it. It really makes me depressed when you learn about this, because it's like, John Hammond, he's there. He's basically done it. They're not exactly dinosaurs, but they're dinosaurs. You know, they look just like him. They kind of act like him, or at least how they theoretically would act, and. All of that. It's like, if the scientists kind of told him, like, hey, yeah, you did it, you made dinosaurs. You did make dinosaurs. And
well, then it was up to the scientists also and his coworkers to be like,
the scientists are evil, man.
Here's how this is how we have to do this to stay within the law, to make sure that it stays under control. And they thought that they could control it.
They were wrong.
But like, most simplistically, you cannot control nature.
It's an animal.
Are going to do what they're going to do.
And believe me, if nature's like, wait, why are we going back in time here? These shouldn't be alive anymore. Okay, now we're going to replace them with humans, since humans think they're all about this.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how that works.
Because obviously it wasn't Hammond's idea, probably, to be like, okay, well, we need to make sure that we keep it under control so they can't breed. That came all from the scientists. Because Hammond probably wouldn't even know how to make that happen.
Hammond, no, absolutely not. I had to, like, Hammond's smart and dumb.
Here's end goal. Y'all figure out how we get there.
Pretty much. He's good at talking and making business. He's like, you guys are making, what, millions of dollars per year off of just being here? So, like, this is what I want you guys to do. You guys are the best of the best in the world. You can do it. I'm going to let you guys do your thing, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he spared no expense and got the best of the best.
Well, believe me, he spared expense. It's just that he made a lot of income, so it kind of canceled it out.
Oh my gosh. This is just such a good book. I'm so excited how much I'm loving it. You know what's interesting though is I'm more interested in all of the science and technical stuff than I am the action scenes. And I feel like
this is what I should have read in biology class.
I'm really bad at here, I'll get a different perspective here. I'm really bad at liking technical scientific writing. Like, it's really hard. I don't know why, I don't like it. I find it boring, but they've condensed it so well in here. It's so readable, and it's small snippets, but it's the most important parts of those snippets, like almost bullet points, where it's like, okay, I can do this. And then the action scenes, I feel, are very repetitive because I've seen the movies so many times that I'm like, I could visualize it in my head without reading the book, like, because I've seen the movies so much. I don't really like the repetitiveness of those, so I like all the other stuff so much more.
Well, when you get to later, like, because you're coming up on it, you'll start to realize that, like, some action scenes, they divvy up.
Oh, really?
give it a minute.
Because the
though.
Tyrannosaurus
Towards
Rex
the end of the book,
was the same.
towards the end of the book, it is really easy to miss it. So take it carefully and slowly, but you're going to get surprised.
Okay, I can't wait.
But yeah. So
Under 200 pages and I will be done. Yeah.
Is this big enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay. See? There you go. We'll get you some blankets and stuff, my man. Michael, is that a big enough bed for you? Yeah, I figured so. What's that?
What's gonna happen when the room attendants come in?
Oh, nothing. This is everybody's registered, so they don't take anything.
Weave. No.
Who wants to split this open?
Ooh, that is really pretty. The white one?
Yeah.
Like, that's really pretty.
You should get that for San Diego. It looks like so lightweight and breezy.
Mm-hmm.
Too. Look
I
at
kind of
how
like the
lightweight it is.
patchwork, too.
Yeah. I wonder how much that is.
Yeah. We'll see.
No, not really what I expected. It's almost like walking on Toby's spot. Ooh, I like that.
Oh, look at all the masks and stuff. Ooh, that is really cool.
Like
It's very bold.
I like the back.
The back?
See the back? Take a look at the back. It's like strap.
Oh, yeah. It's like a wraparound.
Yeah.
What did you get us?
Flaming monkey.
Flaming monkey. Yes, you do want the cafe au lait.
Yeah. With a cafe au lait and 3 beignets all to myself. You gotta wait till I get food.
No, don't worry. We're going to get that, too. Now, tell me, what is it now? Explain it.
It is like this big, fluffy, amazing, pillowy donut that is really sugary and is melting in my mouth.
All right, so rate it. 1 out of 5.
A solid 4.8.
What happened to the other .2s?
Am I comparing it to fish tacos? There's like no comparison. Fish tacos always a 5.0.
Fair enough. All right, Aaron. Rating. 4.8? What? Okay, all right. Picnic style dinner on our patio of our hotel.
Yeah, our bad.
I know, it's really nice out here considering. Some games. All right, we're trying these boudin balls. I've never had one before. They're actually really delicious and like
Spicy.
little. They're not too spicy. There's a little bit of a kick to it though.
Spicy for me.
Fried chicken, pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I lost a freaking earring.
How?
Dang.
You're gonna knock me in. Oh, knocked it away. Oh, almost. But we're getting better. Oh, you bounced.
All right, look at these monkeys on the elevator wallpaper. It's like in the elevator. Isn't that funny? I love it.
It's a disco ball. It's a disco ball.
I like this one. This one is Azuli Frida. What is that? What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know. People like left perfume here for her. Interesting.
library. I'll sit in that chair while you look at all the books. Come on. Look, it did it again. It did it again. Oh, we did? St. Joseph Cemetery. Unfortunately, Lafayette cemeteries were closed. We were able to walk around this one freely without a guided tour. Hey guys, all right. First of all, it's kind of noisy in my house. Everyone's home. But we're here to talk about Jurassic Park. We were home from vacation. I finished this book. I was trying so hard to finish it during vacation, but we would like get in at night and I would just lay down and just like fall asleep after like reading a page. So this book was incredible. Overall, it was very fast paced, I felt like, for how large it was. I really loved the pacing of it. As someone who doesn't really read a lot of who doesn't really enjoy a lot of the like technical writing, I felt all the scientific bits and the technical bits, Michael Crichton was able to condense those bits into just the very simplistic form, get right to the point, and skipped all of the pretentious I know what I'm talking about, and just made it really readable. It was actually some of the most fascinating aspects of this book. That was something I was not expecting at all. I guess my final thoughts, I kind of wanted to go back and share a few passages I just really, really liked, especially when it comes to Malcolm is by far the best character of this whole book. The second character would be Alan Grant. He's like such an awesome character. Real quick before we go into any quotes. In the movie, Malcolm, Grant, and Ellie kind of had a weird thing where it was like Alan Grant and Ellie had a romantic past, it seemed like. They never really said anything, but it seemed like there was a romantic past in the movie. And then Malcolm was like flirting with Ellie relentlessly. None of that actually happens in the book. And I guess I understand that because a lot of movies, they try to kind of put some sort of romantic element into the storyline for all the people who love that kind of romance. But it wasn't actually present in the book at all. In fact, it would be really weird if Alan and Ellie had anything to do with each other, because apparently she was actually his student. Because Malcolm will explain essentially the concept, and then he will explain it by applying it to something that we are already familiar with in our real world. Chaos theory says two things. First, that complex systems like weather have an underlying order. Second, the reverse of that simple systems can produce complex behavior. For example, pool balls. You hit a pool ball and it starts to carom off the sides of the table. In theory, that's a fairly simple system, almost as Newtonian system. Since you can know the force imparted to the ball and the mass of the ball, and you can calculate the angles at which it will strike the walls, you can predict the future behavior of the ball. In theory, you can predict the behavior of the ball far into the future as it keeps bouncing from side to side. You could predict where it will end up 3 hours from now, in theory. But in fact, it turns out you can't predict more than 5 seconds into the future, because almost immediately, very small effects, imperfections in the surface of the ball, tiny indentations in the wood of the table start to make a difference. And it doesn't take long before that overpower your careful calculations. So it turns out that the simple system of a pool ball on a table has unpredictable behavior. Hammond's project is another apparently simple system, animals within a zoo environment that will eventually show unpredictable behavior. And this is all his prediction before he even sees the island at all. I also really love how Ellie is so informative about plants. Like, she was walking around the park and everything and was like, you know that these plants planted like right here are toxic, right? Like, if a child goes and puts that plant in its mouth or touches that plant, like you have a really bad situation. I thought that was really interesting. There's one in particular I'm looking for. Chaos theory treats the behavior of a whole system like a drop of water moving on the complicated propeller surface. A drop may spiral down or slip outward toward the edge. Anyways, I thought I had another one in here to share, but I have since lost it. Yeah, I highly recommend this book. This was so good. There's a few scenes that are very much like the movie. That was my biggest thing, is I was afraid it would be too much like the movie, that I would be bored with it, but it's actually incredibly different than the movie. It goes into, I think there's only a couple scenes which are very similar to the movie, but you get through them quite quickly. I guess I will leave you here with those thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.